Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Dreambound. We're about to go so crazy. Last episode was all about Kane's backstory and what happened with his parents and where everything went wrong in his life. Meh, 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 meh. Oh, it was so tea. And I guess we're back in Noah's head again. Still in the past. So let's hop into that. We're about to go crazy. Noah felt weary when he woke up the following morning. He hadn't slept much at all, despite his best efforts. He tossed and turned for the most of the night, his dreams fragmented like broken glass. He felt like crap when he padded downstairs after showering and changing, and he probably looked like crap too. Back with the music. Yeah, we're crazy. Kane had spent... Oh, no, wait, we're in the future, huh? Kane had spent all of last night on the couch, but he looked significantly more awake than Noah had felt. The look Kane gave Noah as he entered the kitchen was a concerned one, which made Noah's state amply obvious. I guess I do look like crap this morning. Hey, Noah, did you manage to get some sleep? No, but you probably could have guessed that. Okay, we are in the future. Just letting you know. I was wrong. Noah sighed as he took a seat at the kitchen table. You don't need to spare my feelings, you know. You can be honest with me. I look that bad today, huh? Crap is a bit harsh, but not inaccurate. Well, I'd prefer to say out of it, maybe. After everything you've been through the last few days, I think that's fair. I'm not about to judge. You spent last night crashing on the couch, but you look better than I do. Well, what can I say? I'm just built different. Kane chuckled and Noah rolled his eyes. Please. Kane's flippancy was irritating, given how awful Noah felt himself, but there was something reassuring about it. It's nice to know he's so dedicated to being normal despite everything. It makes things a little easier to bear, I guess. For some reason, Noah found it difficult to look in... No, yeah, go ahead. No, finish that. Go ahead. Found it difficult to look Kane in the eyes this morning. Perhaps it was his outburst last night. The very thought made him shy away. He hadn't said anything wrong. He did want Kane to rely on him, but it was a little out of character for him to act so vulnerable. Now, drink this. It should help you perk up. Noah frowned as Kane set a mug of some tan liquid down in front of him. What is this, coffee? Nah, you don't really go... You know I don't really go for that. It's a bad habit. Drinking coffee. It's tea. Ah, tea. Sorry, bros. I'm dying up in here. As I am every time. My body always decides, yeah, I think now's the time to start acting up. But I also did get really sick. Well, not really sick. That's crazy. That other time that I was really sick, I was really sick. I just got kind of sick. I literally went to see, like, my parents for Christmas, and then I got sick. I was like, dang, that was crazy. My mom was like, tell me if you get, because she got sick, and she's like, tell me if you get sick. And I was like, okay, I won't get sick, probably. And then I got sick, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to tell her, because then she'll feel bad. And I didn't. I was like, anyways. Tea. It's been a long time since I've had tea. I just used whatever I could find in the kitchen, with my apologies, of course, to Asher. I thought this would be to your taste, though. It's honey-flavored. Who can say no to that? Probably you. You don't like sweet things, do you? I'm not big on sweets, no. But I know you are, and so is Asher, apparently. Most of the food in here is junk. That's the one thing Noah thought that he and his brother had in common. They both had an incurable sweet tooth. One wouldn't have thought it to look at Asher, but he enjoyed cake just as much as Noah did. That would almost be a charm point, if he wasn't such an insufferable jerk. That sounds like Asher, all right. Noah reached out for his cup of tea, and he blew on it. Then he brought his lips to... He brought it to his lips. Hello? He took a sip. Kane was right. It was very sweet. And let it sit against his tongue. The tea helped him wake up, if nothing else. It was rather pleasant, and it made all of the more so by the knowledge that Kane had been the one to brew it for him. Yeah, that's what I think too. It's true. So, Kane observed Noah with a small smile as he set the cup down. Is it good? It's good. Yeah, thanks, Kane. Huh? Kane blinked. You're thanking me? Is there something strange about that? Oh, no. I'm happy about it, of course, but you're not usually this sentimental. Especially not over a cup of tea. You were like this last night, too. Are you alright? He just came out and said it. Well, no, I'm not really alright, but you've done a lot for me over the years. More than brewing a single cup of tea, I mean. I guess that's what I'm really thanking you for. Oh? A smile captured the corner of Kane's lips, one which made Noah think of how Kane had been back in high school. It's nice of you to finally realize it. Is this a case of a little, too late? From you? Never. Like I mentioned, I'd do this for you. I don't do this for you to feel indebted to me, or for your thanks. Still, that doesn't mean I don't like it. It's no big deal, really. I don't think you and I need words like thanks, to be honest. I'll always be here for you. Dude, you should always say thanks. I'm just saying. Whether you want it or not. Are you sure? Noah looked at Kane dubiously. I think trying to look after a grumpy, depressed jerk like me for years would be quite the big deal, actually. Well, you've not been the easiest person to hang around with lately, but I feel like you're understating things. Yeah. But nobody's perfect, you know? People go through stuff. Sometimes stuff they go through is so intense it makes them act in ways they usually wouldn't. A lot happened with your parents and school and August. I don't like to believe that the world can be out to get you, but that's sure how it seemed. I guess. Noah frowned. I wasn't just upset, though. For a while, I ignored you. I pushed you away. You did, yeah. But I know you weren't singling me out or anything. You ignored everybody. I don't think you were in a good mood to interact with the world in general. And you know what? I think it's fair. There's worse things in the world you can do to a person than ignore them. I know that, but we're friends. You've always tried to be there for me, even when I'm at my lowest. Fretfully, Noah nibbled at the inside of his mouth. And like I said last night, I couldn't do the same thing for you. I mean, it's not like I'm the only person in the world who suffered. You went through some pretty rough times yourself back in school. Right, well, I guess there is that, I guess. Kane smiled abashedly while running his hand through his hair. You let me in on that night I turned up out of nowhere. That was plenty of support. It was the bare minimum. I got consumed by my own stuff, and I never even spared you a thought. I should have been there to help you or talk to you at the very least, but I messed things up. I mess everything up. What do you even see in me anyway? Noah didn't vocalize these rebukes. He knew doing so would only make Kane worry, but they weighed on him regardless. Well, Kane spoke after a small pause, reclining in his chair as he crossed his arms. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Things were definitely hard when my parents were divorcing. But hey, let's look on the bright side. It's not like either of them died. Even if my mother did act like she died on the inside. Kane chuckled lowly, but it was without any kind of humor. Still, I got through it the best I could. And whether you think it's a big deal or not, you did let me in. You did let me talk. Most people would have told me to shove it, or at least knock at the front door like a normal person, but you didn't. You let me in, and you let me pour my heart out to you. I bet I got your sheets all wet. Kane smiled ruefully. But you didn't get on my case about it. You were really good to me. Well, the memory of this night, of Kane's cheeks, which were so wet with rainwater, was impossible to tell whether he had been crying, returned to him in a rush. Kane had been in a bad state then. Noah had never seen him look more helpless. He had been afraid, in all honesty, when Kane had shown up at his house like that, but you are my best friend. Sending you away was never really an option. I wouldn't have asked you to try to use the front door. As if I could let my mother see you like that. It was still thoughtful of you. You didn't have to be so good to me. No, I did have to. You've always been great to me, after all. It's just a pity that I couldn't keep that up, I guess. I don't remember the whole thing, but I'm pretty sure I told you I'd be there for you that night. And look how that ended up. A lot of people's parents get divorced. It's pretty common. The rates are going through the roof lately. I guess because the world's full of unhappy, unfulfilled people. I don't know. Kane shrugged. In any case, my parents' relationship had been pretty rocky for a while. The writing was already on the wall. I knew it was coming, and I was basically an adult when it happened. It's not like I needed you to hold my hand through it. I wasn't planning on holding your hand, but giving you a shoulder to lean on? Wasn't I a pretty terrible friend? Well, maybe. Kane smiled vaguely, and then gave Noah's ankle a nudge beneath the table. Dude, I like need to get my glasses or something. Let me sit up. At some point when I've been streaming for a while, not streaming, I don't stream. At some point when bring that nice and close. At some point when I record for a while, my eyes start getting kind of blurry, whether it be from exhaustion or not, and then I can't read the screen, which means I read even worse than I normally do. But it's alright, I still like you, even if you have been a bit of a terrible friend. Your mood swings aren't enough to turn me against you, so don't worry. I've still got your back. Noah fell silent for a few moments. Feeling bashful, he looked down at the tabletop, at his reflection in the cup of tea which Kane had prepared for him. His reflection rippled to the tea's surface. Mutable and mysterious. Why do I feel so awkward? Kane's always looked out for me like this. He's not acting any different from usual, so why do I feel so weird about it? It must have been Asher. He said so many stupid things about Kane, untrue things. They've been messing with my head. There's no way there was even a shred of truth to what he said, but... Hey, Kane, I was just wondering, about the stuff Asher said last night? Oh, that. Kane interjected before Noah could complete the question. His brow furrowed for a few moments. His expression was one of displeasure, like a small child biting into a broccoli floret, before a few moments later, it relaxed. You haven't been thinking about that, have you, Noah? A little, maybe. It's hard to not keep replaying the whole stupid encounter in my head. Well, you know what Asher's like. He was just saying stuff to try and get a rise out of you. It's best not to take it too seriously. I mean, what would he even know about my feelings? How'd you know I was going to talk about that? How'd you know I was going to talk about that, huh? I barely know the guy. So he doesn't have a thing for me? Well, I should have figured as much. Kane's always been nice to me, and maybe he's a bit overprotective, but that's just the way he is with everybody. August called him a mom friend for a reason. I must be reading into it too much. Right, you're right. I'm sorry for asking. I hope you don't mind. What, that you're wondering whether I'd have a secret thing for you? Kane chuckled. Please, Noah. We've known each other since we were little kids. I remember when we used to make mud pies together by the river. Do you think I'd want to hook up with a guy who used to eat dirt? God only knows what's been in your mouth. Hey, that only happened once. And that's only because you dared me. It's not like I went around eating dirt indiscriminately. Once is bad enough. You'll forever be known as the dirt muncher. Damn, that's crazy. I was 4 years old. If you're gonna be like that, then why don't I remind you of the time that you got locked in that store cupboard when we were playing hide and go seek? And then, oh no, you're not bringing this back on me. We were talking about your childhood blunders here, not mine. I don't see why we can't talk about yours. It's fair game. From what I recall, you were trapped in that cupboard for so long that you la 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 la. Kane pressed his hands over his ears and gave Noah a kick from beneath the tabletop. I'm not listening. Oh, real mature. You're such an adult. I guess I should have expected much from a guy who cried when I splashed him in the pool. That was years ago. So was the dirt thing, and I only did it to appease you. Stop being so petty. I will when you do. You baby. Takes one to know one. Alright, now I'm pissed. Noah gave... They're so funny. Kane gave Noah another kick beneath the table, and Noah retaliated. For a while, the two engaged in this playful fight, neither of them making a serious attempt to cause the other harm. They jostled and jolted one another, both flushed from the exertion until... They both began to laugh. They're so funny and cute and gay and in love. What? Who said that? That other part was really weird. With breakfast consumed, both Noah and Kane set off to do some investigating. Noah was unsure where to start, but he thought calling some of his old classmates from school wouldn't be a bad place to start. Noah hadn't possessed a wide circle of friends back at school, but Kane and August, in general, beyond Kane and August, and wasn't very popular. Yeah, that's for sure. But there had been a few classmates he had been on good terms with, and the people in the art club. Not that he'd had much of an opportunity to attend the art club before. Yeah, so we're getting near where he died. That's correct. Still, there were plenty of people that he could talk to. People who, like him, would have been shaken by the death of Sebastian and Luca. Music's going crazy. Perhaps they would know something. It seemed like a long shot, but his ex-classmates were the best lead Noah had. Noah called up a few of his old acquaintances using numbers that Kane had managed to dig up. Noah never bothered to keep people's numbers, minus Kane and August's. It feels strange to call people up who've forgotten I even exist. Even if I tell them who's calling, will they remember me? I haven't talked to any of them since... Well, I barely talked to them in school, either. Just talk to them normally. Even if they don't remember you, you can reintroduce yourself. Yeah, well, here I go, I guess. Let's hope they answer. The ringtone of the call felt longer than any one ringtone could possibly be. No one picked up. What a great start. Some of these numbers are years old. I think we should expect a few of them to have changed. And well, you did drop off the face of the earth. I'm sure there'll be a few people who don't care about talking to you. But who cares? People who never cared about... Who cares about people who never cared about you in the first place? Okay, thanks. And sorry guys that I'm reading really terribly today. That's just how it's gonna be, I guess. Back when he ran away, a few people in his class tried messaging him, but no one ever responded. It had seemed like too much effort. These people were meaningless to him. He saw no point in trying to live when he felt so dead inside. Calling people still seemed like too much effort, but Noah told himself it was for the greater good. He had come all the way back to his hometown to catch a killer. Bringing a few old acquaintances was only the beginning. I still know a few people around town. Why don't I do a few house calls while you focus on the list? He tapped on the list sitting on the table in front of him, which contained a dozen or so numbers. Works for me. I don't think that I'm suited for knocking on people's doors anyway. My blanket's on the floor. I don't like it. Get. Ah! Oh, perfect. Sorry. That's what you've got me for. I'll be back, hopefully in the afternoon. Good luck. Gritting his teeth, Noah dialed the next number on his list, a classmate from his first year in high school. His name escaped Noah's memory, but he knew he was an upstanding student. Hello, this is Noah. We went to school together. Hello? Noah, sorry, I don't remember it, Noah. Were we in the same class? Yeah, in our first year. Noah with the black hair? Noah perked up a little. He didn't really expect to be remembered. Yeah, it's me. Sorry, I know I'm calling out of nowhere. It's great to hear from you, man. You totally disappeared back then, didn't you? Everyone thought you'd killed yourself and your family was covering it up after, Sorry, I probably shouldn't have said that. It's fine. I can see why you'd think that. Anyway. The reason I'm calling is because I wanted to ask you if you'd heard about the deaths. Luca, Sebastian, a few others. I did hear about them, though. I'd moved to another city a long time ago. Sad stuff. Did you keep in contact with any of them? I knew Luca a little, but I had a feeling that no one was good enough for him. He lives in a big city apartment these days, working full-time as an artist. Dang, crazy. That jerk. He got to where he is by stealing from people like me. He's probably scamming and manipulating people until the end. I see. I never thought people in a quiet town like this would get murdered, you know? I mean, not to say it's definitely murder, but it's a little strange, right? Didn't your parents also? Yeah, they died a little while ago. Right. I'm sorry for your loss, man. Anyway, Sorry I couldn't be more help. Living so far away, I'm a little removed from the town gossip. Thanks anyway, I appreciate it. No problem. Hang on. I did hear that Luca had a big art show coming up in some big fancy before he died. Big fancy gallery before he died. I wonder if you'd find anything there. Oh, it's going back in time. Help. Anyway, I gotta run. I'll see you around, Noah. Call ended. A gallery showing, huh? Oh, I see that. I like that guy. He sucks. Dude, I'm dying. Dying. I have recorded, I don't even know how many videos I recorded today. 1, 2, 3, 4? I think this is 5. I've recorded like 5-hour videos, and one of them was 2 hours, and then this one's gonna be either an hour or 2. 2, probably. Oh, Jesus, I'm dying. Ugh. I'm a mess. I'm a mess. Noah got up from his spot on the couch and headed back into his bedroom, feeling a strange nostalgia from walking into the space again. It really did feel like nothing had ever changed. He quickly sat down at his desk and switched on his old computer. It took a few minutes to turn on, and for a moment Noah thought it might not turn on, but in the end it finally showed his home screen. There was some art from a book he'd really liked when he was a teen. It made Noah smile just a little. It was a tiny piece of himself he'd forgot about after all, a little piece of Noah that got trapped in the past. Putting that aside, it didn't take him long to find information about Luca on the internet. It seemed like he had gotten an art scholarship at a prestigious university, and now was a big up-and-coming artist. Yeah, I'm glad he died, nerd. Hate that guy. Or was. I'm joking, I'm kidding. No, I'm not. I hate that guy. I'm not glad he died, but I'm not mad about it either. I think that's what Kane said, where he was like, I'm not like, yippee, he's dead, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh no, he was such a great guy because he sucked. From what I saw, he was a manipulative rat, so. I'm not happy that he died, but I'm also not going to sit here and be sad about it, like I didn't think he was a terrible person. The thought made Noah's blood boil, and he just tried desperately to remain calm. Luca didn't deserve any of this. He stole what I should have had. But he's dead, and I'm not, so. He found himself on the gallery page. Tickets for his exposition were being pulled due to an emergency, but he could still see some previews online. His chosen medium was acrylic paint, not dissimilar to Noah himself, which just made him angrier. Noah scrolled through the previews. He wasn't interested in looking at it from an artist's view. For him, the art looked pretty. Rolling landscapes, flowing flowers, fields of bluebells that made you forget how terrible the world really was. But how pretty the end product was didn't matter when it was created with the blood and tears of others. These art pieces were malice in themselves. And that wasn't what he cared about, though. He already knew Luca was a tool. He needed information, hints, anything. And then he found it. A painting of a dark landscape. Shadow. I'm gonna try. What's that word? This is a new trend for me. I'm not even going to pretend with these words that I cannot begin to fathom what they coalesce. Why am I spelling this wrong? I'm spelling this super wrong. Coalesce. Yeah, what does that mean? Come together or form a whole or a mass. Coalesce? Okay. A shadow coalescing from an indefinite sky to form a person. Oh, fun. A person that Noah recognized. From a dream where he saw his own father being murdered. You saw the killer before you died? Long enough beforehand that you had time to paint them? Noah quickly scanned through the description of the painting. Darkness Incarnate was a piece I created inspired by a nightmare. The emotions, the beauty, and the darkness were intoxicating, and as an artist, I thought it would be worthy to capture in a physical painting. It's meant to represent death you'll never see coming, a darkness that overcomes you while you're not looking, and hold on to the cold stare of a hunter. Interesting. Mr. Floyd said something similar, didn't he? That he was scared of the man of the shadows, which means that he had seen him in the past enough times to be afraid. Why didn't I pick up on that before? The killer isn't just striking once and being done with it. He's terrorizing them. I gotta talk to him. Noah picked up his phone again, looking at the long list of names that were left by Kane. He had a lead, but it still felt like a waste to discard Kane's efforts, so he first tried calling the rest of the numbers left to him. Some of the numbers went straight to voicemail, others were disconnected permanently. Many people had moved and not even heard of the deaths. Others were still in town. A couple still lived with their parents, while others rented apartments not far from home. But no one had anything particularly helpful. They were surprised to hear from Noah and offered their condolences, but didn't know anything he didn't already know. Noah found these calls difficult. He'd never been very good at idle chatter. He was far too awkward to talk normally with what were essentially strangers. But still, Noah did his best. Well, it was a long shot. Barely any people answered. At least now I know that I haven't wasted Kane's effort in digging up all these numbers. Now I just have to talk to Mr. Floyd. Noah went to dial his number but hesitated. Yeah, I need you to lock in, buddy. Is this a better conversation for in person? I still don't forgive him for what he did to me, but I have to put it aside. This is too important. Instead of calling, Noah sent a message over which read, "This is Noah. If you want to talk, come to my old house in the late afternoon. We'll talk." He closed his phone and stared at his computer screen. It still made him angry. So angry. Why did Luca get to have all the success? Why did those that did wrong always get rewarded? He knew it wasn't the right time to get angry over someone who had died, but the feeling still resurfaced and threatened to overwhelm him. He spent a few moments like this, then suddenly a hand on his shoulder. "Heyo. Looks like someone's been busy." "Oh, Kane, I didn't hear you come in." "Well, maybe that's why they call me Kane the Silent." "No one calls you that." A half smile, Noah pulled his head from out of his hands and stared back at Noah pulled his head out from his hands and stared back at his screen. Kane glanced over it at his... whatever. You get it. Whatever. I don't care. Planning to go to an art exhibition? It was Luca's. Seriously? I didn't ever think he was actually much of an artist. Noah? He wasn't. He manipulated and stole from actual artists around him. He did that to you? Noah stayed silent for a few moments before nodding. He'd never admit this to anyone in any way. It made him feel weak. Someone like Luca used him, manipulated him so easily. It was like nothing. Like he was nothing. Even now, years later, it was so hard to admit. Noah hadn't known how difficult it was to speak up, but now he understood. He felt ashamed, but it was time to put that to the side. Time to open up. Then he deserves it. He deserves to have died. That's correct. I know I just said it too, but that's crazy. Okay. He got where he was from hurting people, using him. He got there hurting you, and I'll never accept that. King. He said, "I let the world burn." He's so that guy for real. I'm happy he's not around anymore, but that makes me feel even more guilty. I hate him so much. I hate how I was manipulated. But I don't want to be some judge of whether people should live or die. I don't want to feel pleased by his death. I just want to move forward. Doesn't this help you move forward? Look where you are. Did you ever think you'd be back here? Noah looked around his room, from his bed to his desk and his closet. He answered honestly. No, I didn't ever expect to be back here. What's happening gave me the kick I needed, but I still wish it hadn't. I want to move on. I don't know how to say that without saying that word. Darn forgiving any of them. I got there. But I want to leave them in the past. This is just digging up the past. I don't want any more. Kane frowned down at Noah, trying to work out what to say. In the end, Kane just sighed and slung his arm over Noah's shoulder. You're a complicated guy, you know that? I don't think not wanting people to die left and right makes me complicated. Well, whether it's for right or wrong, I'm glad you're here. Glad I'm here with you. Glad to see even a sliver of who you were back in the day. We're going crazy right now. Noah, bashful, turned away from Kane. Yeah, well, I'm glad to have you here too. I couldn't do this without you. That's a given. You can't even drive, so you'd be stuck walking if not for me. Not like buses don't exist. Anyway, did you get anything useful from anyone? Ah, right. Kane separated from Noah and he sat down on the edge of his bed. Everyone knows about the murders, which was to be expected. Most people are treating it more like gossip than real death, though. Which also isn't surprising given the nature. The local newspaper wrote a few articles, but they were pretty bare bones. Nothing we didn't already know, at least. But you know who I did run into? Who? That old Bellworth guy. You know, he was your dad's boss back in the day. Noah stiffened up slightly. Apparently, he and your dad stayed close, and your dad was complaining about nightmares. Oh, that lines up perfectly. Hmm? I found evidence of the same. Luca and Mr. Floyd also had nightmares. I'm hoping to talk to Mr. Floyd later today. Is that a good idea? Noah nodded. I'm ready to talk to him, or more importantly, I'm ready to ask him what I need to know. He stretched lightly and pushed himself to his feet. Hopefully he turns up. Kane nodded, though Noah didn't miss the concerned look he threw over towards him. Until then, why don't we grab a bite to eat? You haven't really eaten since breakfast, have you? True, I haven't. Thanks, Kane. You're looking after me again, Mr. Mom friend. Always will. Kane winked towards Noah, and Noah found himself smiling in response. You're gay. What? Who said that? Over the last few days, he felt things he hadn't felt in a long time. Happiness, warmth. The nostalgia was bittersweet, but the warmth was welcome, even if he wasn't ready to admit that out loud. He liked feeling like a person, feeling like someone cared about him, felt worried about him. He wouldn't let it fade away so easily this time. Hell yeah! Hell yeah! I'm kicking this kid in. Yeah, we're about to kick depression in the ass! Get ready, depression, I'm about to school you! Things fell into a comfortable silence as the pair traversed the mountainside and headed towards the old cafe they used to stop by after school. Fortunately, it was still in business, and they quickly selected their regular chairs, a nice spot right around the window so they could enjoy the view. They finished eating quickly and left soon enough, standing out under the endless blue sky. This place hasn't changed at all, huh? Kane chuckled. 6 years later, and the same old cafe serves the same old hamburgers, and the sky was still blue. Noah looked up towards the clouds high above them, white cotton fluff moving ever so slowly, fleeting. Noah felt a slight breeze and closed his eyes. It was only a few years ago that Noah, Kane, and August had made this same walk, scaling the mountain after school to return home each day. That was the one thing that had changed. This town felt a little less brighter than it did before. Noah opened his eyes again, and Kane was looking down at his phone. There's a library around here, actually. You know, the one that we went to sometimes in the summer holidays? There's never anything to do here. We could stop by, see if we find anything. Noah nodded in agreement. It was a short walk to the library, and a pleasant one. The afternoon sun was warm and soothing on his skin, and the light breeze kept him from being too hot. All was calm and quiet. Sorry, I had like a mental break. If you ever hear like a rhythmic tapping, I'm not even sure if you can hear it. Or like a rustle that's like, it's probably because dude, I don't even realize I'm doing it. But if there's like a song playing in the background, I will sit and I will bop to it. I will like dance to the music, even though I'm reading something and I won't know I'm doing it. It's ADHD, I fear. It's the ADHD, I fear. Anyways, all was calm and quiet. The pair walked past a few people on the way there. Kids on their way home, teenagers walking their dogs. So much normalcy that it was overwhelming. By the time they arrived, Noah was thinking, somewhere that the sea of normalcy could be the killer. Somewhere in it. In this crowd of people, so ignorant of their current situation, could walk a person covered in the blood of others. Noah gulped down the thought and entered the library. I'm telling you, it's one of them. It's one of these two. And it's not, maybe it's someone else, but like it's a little too intentional, I think. Especially the tormenting, dude. The tormenting is crazy. If they're purposefully doing that, but it hasn't gone to Noah yet, right? But it's not Noah having these dreams. Right. The library, the only one in town, wasn't huge by any standards, but it had a decent selection. As always, the library was quiet, but people were around. In some strange way, even through all the tragedy, people just kept carrying on. I suppose that's the only thing they can do. The world goes on whether people are being mysteriously killed or not. I love the smell of books. How about I hit the people and you hit the books? I don't know if they'll appreciate you hitting people in the library. Very funny. Hey, if art doesn't work out, there's always comedy. I'll keep that in mind. In all seriousness, that works for me. Me back here in a bed? Don't get in too much trouble, alright? Yeah, that's a serious worry in a public library. A grin later, and Kane had already gone over to the front counter. He leaned across it, a wide smile on his face as he chatted with the librarian present. He really always was charismatic. Noah turned towards the shelves and shelves of books. Where was he to start? How useful could a book be? He didn't hold out much hope for useful information. And then something Kane said tugged on his mind. Some of the local newspapers wrote about the murders. Maybe I should check out those first. Noah walked towards the newspaper archive and found that it was remarkably updated compared to when he was a kid. There was a screen attached to the shelf where you could search by date or topics, and it would give you the shelf number. So Noah started with something simple: markings. A few results popped up, and can I help you? Dude, you want to be on mic? You want to be on microphone? You gotta be closer. I can't pick you up. Come here. Here. That's my cat. I got silenced. I put the microphone to her nose and she went. Anyways. I'm recording. Can you back up? 20 minutes or so later, Noah sat down in a quiet corner with a handful of newspapers. Noah picked up the first one, the headline on the front cover, Murder Mystery, in all caps. Noah cringed a little, but quickly read through the passage. Flower markings appeared on bodies. This one mentions my parents. 2 people were found dead in their home, days apart, with not a wound on them. The only common link was the strange vine-like markings that were not previously seen on the couple. Noah looked at the photos for a moment before putting the newspapers down. Why? He read on, picking up the next newspaper. This one was an interview with an expert. It read, "Such a bizarre thing to happen in such a sleepy little town. It's been taken for everything from a strange natural phenomenon to a supernatural occurrence." It's been taken for everything from... I don't know if that makes sense. I might be crazy. As a scientist, I have to say the latter isn't even remotely possible, but a supernatural phenomenon is what it could be. We could be looking at a new, undocumented illness. Whether curable, controllable, or fatal, it's yet to be determined. There are, however, some theories circulating the internet about these markings, like a serial killer with a tattoo attraction, but that's incredibly unlikely. With a sigh, Noah put down the newspaper. Sorry, big yawn. When he picked up the third one, he paused. The paper was yellowed, and his eyes quickly found the date. Realizing it was over 6 years old, confused, Noah flipped through the pages, reading the headlines. Mysterious markings? His eyes quickly scanned the article. The article? Oh. The article. My bad. Let me just die. Let me just lay on the floor and die. 2 people were found dead in their apartment. Strange markings wound around their chest and shoulders. The only person present was their son. Later on, 2 similar cases were discovered in a small town in Summerfield, with a single mother discovered in her home with her 10-year-old daughter was present. Lastly, a teenage boy suffered an unrelated injury, and several nurses found similar markings on his body, although he was still alive. This happened before? On such a small scale, though. Just what's going on here? Noah's eyes rose up from the newspaper just in time to see someone standing a few meters away, picking a few books from the shelves. A person Noah recognized. It was Reuben. Previously Asher's best friend and possibly boyfriend, though from the sound of things that was no longer the case. I doubt he knows much about what's going on, but it's worth reaching out anyway, isn't it? Noah stood and approached the man. Hey, you're Reuben, right? He set aside his book and then looked up. Is that what you looked at before? I think you could have more melanin. Maybe it's just me. Do we know each other? It's Noah. It had been 6 years since Noah had last seen Reuben in the flesh, so it made sense if he'd forgotten him. Noah, Asher's brother. For better or worse. Reuben's expression was placid. Placid? Placid. As it had always been before, but he had an incredibly calm always been an incredibly calm Zen person. I wish I could be more like that. It's called therapy, my guy. I didn't know you were back in town. Yeah, well, it's a bit sudden. I didn't intend on coming back, but after everything that happened... Everything? Reuben looked confused for a few moments before the realizing seemed to dawn. Your parents, right? I'm sorry. No, it's alright. Is it? Well, I have conflicted feelings about it, but I guess not. I'm hanging in there the best I can for the moment. Do you like to read, Noah? I haven't picked up a book in a while, but I used to be into manga a bit, I guess. Reuben had a far-off look in his eyes. You should try it. It helps. He walked past Noah and sat down across from where Noah had been reading his newspapers a moment ago. Noah sat back down. I guess I can pretend I don't know anything about him and Asher fighting. Have you seen my brother much lately? I think he's taking it a lot worse than I am. Reuben had already opened a book and was reading like Noah hadn't spoken to him at all. Reuben? Not for a while. We went our separate ways a few years ago, but I still bump into him sometimes, I guess. There was a hint of hurt in Reuben's voice, but his tone was carefully composed. He and I got into a fight the other day, too. That's not surprising, knowing him. Do you remember Kane? He gave me a lift here and intended to hang around for the funeral planning. I don't think Asher really cared. He probably just wanted a reason to lash out. Reuben put down the book. He wasn't always like that, or at least I thought he wasn't. Did he ever lash out at you? Reuben shook his head. That's why I found it such a surprise when you told me back then how he treated you. Noah felt a pang of guilt. He knew he had nothing to feel guilty about. Asher had done this to himself, but he still found himself looking towards the floor. At first, I wanted to think that he was misunderstood, but, well, I guess that's just how he is. When you see him next, tell him I'm sorry about your parents, would you? Of course. Noah frowned. There's something faintly tragic about it, when he considered how close Reuben and Asher had been. Reuben had been Asher's best, perhaps only friend. It was unfortunate their relationship had fallen apart so spectacularly. To such an extent, Reuben wouldn't even consider calling Asher when his parents died. What in the world happened between them anyways? I know they fought after I told Rabin? Sorry. Reuben how Asher treated me, but why did Reuben take it so personally? I guess asking would just be rude. But I don't know Reuben well enough for that. There is something I've been meaning to ask him, though. Actually, I'm in town for a couple of reasons. Would it be okay if I asked you something? Reuben had already gone back to his book, but he set it down again without even a sigh. He nodded. How can I word this to where I don't sound insane? I've been paying attention to the news since my parents passed away. Because it's so unusual. I mean, those markings on their bodies. I read a few books like that once about calling cards left by serial killers. Is that what you think they are? Maybe. So, you know more people have been showing up since then, I'm guessing? A lot of people are talking about them, so I can't help but hear about it. They all have those same markings across their bodies. Other than that, the bodies were more or less undisturbed. And no murder weapons. It's definitely a mystery. Kane and I were hoping to learn more about it while we were here. You're looking for the killer? Is that a good idea? Well, like you said, it's the first two victims were my parents. Of course I want to know who killed them. And more than that, I need to see this through. I need to put it behind me. Right, sorry. That makes sense. It's alright. I know that looking into these deaths isn't going to bring them back, but I can't stand the uncertainty, you know, of not knowing who did it. I don't want more people to be hurt if there's something I can do about it. The police have been drawing a blank, and they don't seem to have any clues, or if they do, they haven't published them. Noah jumped as he felt a hand on his shoulder and whipped around to see Kane's grinning face. God, Kane, are you trying to give me a heart attack? Hey, I just wanted to join the chat-up session. Hey, Reuben, you might not remember me, but Kane, right? I remember you. You were often over at Asher's place when I was. Kane took a seat next to Noah and brushed his hair back. Is he doing alright, you think? Not really. I don't think he's coping all that well with 2 funerals all on his own. I mean, I'm here to help, but he's never wanted much to do with me. Now, I understand feeling a little bad for him. He's dug his own hole. He's capable of climbing out if he wants to. Is he? Noah, he's pushed everyone who cares about him away. You can't feel guilty about that. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt the conversation. We were just saying that the police had been totally drawing a blank over everything that's been going on. They must be seriously incompetent. It's ridiculous, really, that he hasn't been caught yet after taking so many lives. He? Reuben looked at Kame sharply. Did they announce that or something? Oh, no, that's force of habit, I guess. Anyone's capable of committing crimes, of course. Sorry, my bad. Reuben just shrugged. No need to apologize. I'm not offended on behalf of all female serial killers out there or anything. Well, in any case, I imagine you must be pretty worried about... Oh, wrong person. I imagine you must be pretty worried about all this. Worried? Not really. It's sad, but I don't really feel like I have to feel worried about anything. I just thought it might be worrying, that's all, when so many people from this town have died. If I still lived here, I might be panicking, especially when it seems like there's a killer in your midst. You think the killer lives in this town? Doesn't that make the most sense? Four victims did live here. I guess at a time. 3 of the victims were living in this town when their bodies were uncovered, but Luca lived in the city, 3 hours away. Huh. Kane's brow furrowed. That's a good point. I guess I didn't consider that. Noah, intrigued by Reuben's insight, posed a question to him. Do you think that makes it less likely that the crimes were carried out by the same person, then? Reuben hummed as he quietly contemplated the question. He seemed so thoughtful and calm, even when they were talking about murder. Noah was impressed just at how calm he seemed. He'd always been like that, but it surprised Noah anew. For a moment he thought that Reuben was so lost in his thoughts that he forgot to respond once again, but eventually he did answer. Luca's body was found in a similar state, with the same markings on his neck. That makes me think it's one person doing all of this. That, or the first 3 bodies were killed by the same individual and the 4th was a copycat killing. The different locations and bodies were found in does make me wonder. But I'm not a detective, I just read a lot of books. I doubt I could work out something a police officer couldn't. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Reuben might have possessed a dreamy quality to him, despite being a resident of the real world, but he was intelligent. According to Asher, he tore through multiple books a day for fun, and he had to make short work of every hardback in the school's library. Reuben's voracious appetite for reading was unparalleled. In fact, Noah had to wonder whether that was why Reuben had always looked so tired. If anyone could help Noah come up with some leads, it was Reuben. But he doesn't know about the dream world, and there was only so much I can tell him. If he knew the crimes were being committed out in the dreams, it would make his concern about the distance between the bodies irrelevant. When you're in a dream, things like physical distance don't matter. I can't tell Reuben about that, though. I don't think I'm delusional. Reuben examined Noah from across the tabletop, his eyes still indifferent. Don't you think you ought to be the one worried about this anyways? Huh? What do you mean? The people who were murdered, didn't you know them all? Your parents, classmates, people you knew, right? Right. Reuben had picked up this book at some point. Sorry, I'm dying. And stared down at it as he spoke to Noah and Kane. Don't you think that's interesting? It could be a coincidence. It seems more like a pattern to me, a pretty obvious amateur one. If I saw it in a book, I could probably guess who the killer was straight away. Reuben, please. Reuben, I'm an idiot. Reuben, stop saying those words. I'm a fool. I don't get things very easily, so... You have Captain Dummy playing this game right now. You think there's a chance it could be me? Reuben contemplated Noah quietly for a moment. Not really. I don't think you have it in you to be a killer. What? Am I too soft? No, not at all. I think you're too kind-hearted. I wouldn't call that soft, and it's not a bad thing. Your parents were. His face screwed up, and Noah was reminded of the times where his mother had been beyond rude to Reuben, looking down on him, pitying him. That's right, something happened with his parents, too. Well, the way they treated you and Asher, I wouldn't be surprised if you held a grudge, but you're still here, trying to solve this. Noah looked at Reuben with surprise in his eyes. What do you mean the way they treated Asher? Asher mentioned that too, but they adored him. My mother used to act like he could do no wrong. Well, I doubt that's the impression you got, but Asher said she more or less ignored him in favor of you. She expected him to succeed, being the eldest son, so she left him to his own devices. I think he found it isolating. That's a good thing, though. I wish my mom had avoided me. Instead, she stuck her nose into every single thing in my life. She was constantly watching, belittling, and disregarding everything I did in some way, without ever having any time to pay attention to what I actually wanted in life. If she left me alone, life would have been so much easier. It's like two ends of the wrong thing, right? Is having a parent super involved is stifling and suffocating, especially to the extent that his mom was. Oh God, it makes you feel trapped in your own life. But having parents that don't care or like seem like they don't care is also like super like traumatizing and terrible. They both got a really bad end of the same stick. I'm sure it would have, but you know Asher, he's always thrived on attention. I think he begrudged you for it, stealing so much of her attention. If attention's what he wanted, he would have been welcome to it. I never wanted her getting on my case about all of my grades or my friends or my hobbies. I know. I don't agree with him. I was just telling you what he thinks of your situation. I wish he had just talked to me about it. He's not really good at talking things out. You know that just as well as me, I guess. So, anyway, no, I don't think you could commit murder. You're not the kind to turn to violence so easily, are you? Reuben leaned back in his chair, expression contemplative. Asher's the kind of person who could do it, I think. You think Asher might be behind this? Not really. He didn't even know those students who died. He's just the type of person who could kill, I feel. But that might be going too far, even for a man like Asher. He can be cold-hearted and cruel, but at the end of the day, I think he's too much of a coward to commit murder. Wow, Kane laughed wryly. That's quite a character assassination there. I thought the two of you were supposed to be friends. I wish we still were. Asher was... He was the one person who stood by me when I left home with my brother. I didn't realize something like that happened. No wonder they were close. You said you hadn't spoken to him in a few years? It isn't for lack of trying on Asher's part. He tried to contact me, and I've thought about replying, but... Family's important to me, Noah. I thought he understood that. I know what it's like to have crappy family members. I hate it. I never thought that he'd be a crappy person, too. Well, he never tried to make himself likable. That's not entirely true. He did try to make himself likable at school. He wore himself out, acting like the perfect model student. He'd always had to smile and have a kind word to spare for everybody, but deep down, he resented all of our classmates. He resented our teachers, too. He resented anybody who didn't realize just how hard-working he was. I think I'm the only person he was ever honest with. Other than you, I suppose, Noah. He spent so much time being perfect at school, he couldn't keep the charade up at home. That's probably why he was so cruel to you. Not that it excuses his behavior. He never did anything wrong, after all. So, you don't really hate him, huh? I wish I could. Anyways, Reuben looked back at the mountainous pile of books, opening the one at the very top. Sorry I couldn't be more help. I hope you can find some closure. I hope you can, too. Noah stood and picked up the newspapers from the tabletop. It was good seeing you. Reuben didn't respond after that. He was too engrossed in his reading. Hi, Kane. Hi, Kane. Hi. I'm joking. Or am I? Hi, Kane. I'm kidding. Noah quickly returned the newspapers back to their correct places and then faced Kane. How did it go? Nothing really juicy. There's a lot of gossip, but it's just that, gossip. I guess you flirted with the 60-year-old library for nothing. Kane laughed. Maybe not for nothing. She was quite the firecracker for an old lady. I'm kidding. I'm sure she's wonderful, but I'm not really into older women. Not that much older, at least. Putting aside talk of MILFs and all that, how about we head out? As much as I like libraries, it's getting late and I'm starving. Yeah, I could use some fresh air. Buddy? Buddy? The pair exited the library and found that the sun had already retreated over the horizon. It was already well into the evening. I thought we were supposed to meet the teacher in the afternoon. So confused. Noah sighed slightly. Time flew by. What? Okay, whatever. And there was so much he needed to do, yet he seemed to be just going in circles. While you were chatting up older women, I was reading a few newspapers. Oh, yeah? Anything interesting? Well, there was a lot of the same gossip and speculation, but I did find something interesting. Noah felt his pocket buzz, and he pulled out his old flip phone, seeing that he had missed a few calls and messages. Oh, crap. What, is everything okay? Sorry, just let me pick this up. He quickly opened the messages that simply read, I'm outside your place. I'll wait for you to get home. No rush. Crap. I invited Mr. Floyd over, remember? I totally forgot while talking to Ruben. He texted me over an hour ago. There's no way he's still waiting there. Dang it, how could I forget? Well, knowing him, he could still well be there. Why don't we hurry back and check? A nod later, the pair sped through the darkened streets. There were still plenty of people hanging around, fortunately, though that changed when they reached the mountainside, which was quiet and dark. Carefully, they made their way upwards, but the whole time Noah's chest felt awfully tight. Oh, no. I know it. I know what happens. Oh, he's so stupid for that. Oh, I could smell the foresight. I could smell it. Last episode when Kane was like, be careful, don't fall. He said, I'll be so careful. I was like, that's how he died. He slipped on the rocks and he fell and he died. That sucks, dude. I'm good. We're locked in. He thought back to the terrible storm, to scaling the same path, up and down in search of someone in particular. Every footstep he accompanied... What? Oh, God, that sucks. His foot... I'm... Okay, we need to lock in. I'm fine. Okay. His every footstep was accompanied with the image of a broken body somewhere at the bottom of the... At the bottom of the steep drop. Ugh, that's so sad, dude. That's so sad. That's so sad. That sucks. I mean, I would never go on this path again. Look towards Kane. I'm so locked in. Noah looked towards Kane. His face was covered in shadows, but even Noah could tell he looked pale, smaller than usual, even with those broad shoulders. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Let's keep going. Kane? I had a bad experience here once. Sorry, I didn't think it was so obvious. I guess I should work on my acting, huh? In that moment, Noah felt like he related to Kane more than ever. There was a fragileness to him that he didn't usually notice. But still, they continued, and soon enough the trail steadied out, and more lights were present as they reached Noah's house. That's so sad, dude. That sucks. I mean, he shouldn't have been doing that in the first place. That's why they try to keep kids away from dangerous stuff like that, dude, because, you can slip and you can fall. That's so real, especially on, a whack-ass night like that. It was raining so hard. Because I bet you that morning when they woke up, he was dead. For sure. As they approached, they both saw a shadow hunched over in the front steps. Noah tensed a little before finally relaxing. Noah from 2 weeks ago would have ran. He would have been filled with anger and hate and malice. But the Noah now found himself ready to listen. He wasn't necessarily ready to forgive, but he was open for giving him a chance. Do you want me here for this? Please. Kane nodded and stayed quiet as Noah approached him. Hey, dude. Mr. Floyd? Hey, sorry to leave you on my porch for an hour. Noah? I don't even remember what voice I gave him. Dude, that was forever ago. He lifted his head and stared up at Noah. I thought you were playing a joke on me. Yeah, well, I wasn't. I figured you'd never want to see me again. You figured right. But I guess I'm feeling a little more brave about confronting problems nowadays. So I decided to come face to face with my past and the people who I hated. Noah, let's talk inside. It's cold out. Mr. Floyd gulped down whatever he was going to say. Okay. This is going to be tea. It's going to be tea. The three headed inside and sat in the living room of Noah's parents' house. It felt so empty and quiet, even with the three of them present. Dude, where'd he go? Where'd his brother go? Like, that's kind of sucky that, like, you know, his brother's doing all this. We came back to solve a murder, but he's dealing with the aftermath of his parents being dead. Like, dude, that sucks bad. That literally sucks. It sucks so much. You've both grown up so much. Time does that to you, doesn't it? Right, that's to be expected, I suppose, but I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this. It's good to see you too, Kane. Are you still cooking? Not as much as I'd like to. Kane's voice was strained, which Noah found confusing. He sounded so much colder than usual, not at all like himself. But it wasn't the time or place to consider it, so Noah turned back to the conversation at hand. Yo. What about you, Noah? Have you been painting? I try. It's a struggle sometimes, but I'm getting through it. That's great. You were always so talented. Mr. Floyd, please, I'm not your teacher anymore. Just call me Emery. Emery? Like the board? Sorry. I'm locked in. Emery, then. Neither of us are here to make small talk, are we? Putting aside everything else, Noah, I'm just happy to see you alive and well. I have so many regrets in my life, and you're one of my biggest ones. I dreamt about you the other night, both of you. I never stopped wondering how you were doing, Noah. But that just kicked me into gear, I guess. I know you probably don't want an apology at this point in time, but at the very least, let me explain what happened. An explanation. Go ahead. Are your parents home today? They're both dead. What? Have you been living under a rock? Assuming you haven't, how did you not know? I live a few towns over. I don't really hear much from this way anymore. They got caught up in those murders, the ones with the markings. Oh God, no, I didn't realize. I appreciate the sympathy, but I'm not exactly up for it. Oh, I'm not exactly torn up about it. His old teacher took a deep breath. He mostly looked the same as he did the last time Noah saw him. The same kind eyes and wide shoulders. He had the look of someone you could trust. That was the problem, really. Well, at least that'll make things easier to explain if I'm not interrupted. It was a huge misunderstanding, Noah. Both of us were used and turned against each other. What? You were paid by my mother to pretend to be close to me just so you could pass on everything I said to her. What part of my misunderstanding? Huh? You never told me about that, Noah. I was struggling back then. I wasn't ready to talk about this to anyone. Sorry. Is it okay if I mention more details in front of... It's fine. There's no point in hiding anything anymore. All right. Your mother never paid me to get close to you. I mean, she paid me to tutor you, I suppose, but there's never any exchange of information. I never told her a word of what you said to me. When you told me how you felt about August, I never intended to tell anyone. How could I? You trusted me enough to tell me, and I wasn't about to make your life difficult by telling anyone before you were ready. And your parents were like... And with parents like yours, I thought it was unsafe for them to find out too. Why should you be in trouble for something as simple as a crush? That's what all that fuss was about in high school? I told Emery about my feelings for August, and the next thing I knew, my mom moved me out of our class. If you didn't tell her, then who did? I wish I could tell you, Noah. When I left you that night, after our last tutoring session, she pulled me to the side and slapped me across the face, and then she fired me. The slap was a little more memorable. What? I don't know if someone else told her, or if she sat in your bedroom and eavesdropped every time we were together or what, but I would never have betrayed your trust, Noah. Never in a million years. I was a lot like you in high school, confused about myself. I had someone I could talk to back then. I thought I could pay forward the favor, I suppose. I didn't mind being made to listen, since you obviously couldn't talk to your parents. She threatened to report me to the school board if I spoke to you again. That's why I had to keep my distance after that. But that's where the explanation ends. Now I have to apologize, whether it means anything to you or not. But I cared more about my career than the safety of my student. You needed my support, and I was a coward. I'm sorry, Noah. I can't ever be sorry enough. Yo, your mom's kind of a witch. I'm gonna be real. Your mom's a witch with a B instead of a W. I'm gonna be real with you. And she's a witch too. Casting spells and potions and stuff. You should have told me back then. I would have understood. I'm sorry. Mr. Floyd lowered his eyes. The room was silent. I always blamed you for so much of my life going wrong. Yeah, it was really your mom. Your mom sucked. Who am I supposed to blame now? Your mom? She literally is the cause of, like, every problem, I think. The question was for no one in particular. In fact, only a few moments later he realized he had spoken it out loud. Sorry, I swear to God I'm dying right now. Myself, I suppose. I left you alone with no one to support you. I wasn't strong enough. You can blame me all you want. I don't want to do that anymore. Thank you for telling me the truth. It changes a lot. No, thank you for listening to me. I was terrified coming here. I wasn't sure what I could say to you, or how I could even look you in the eye. Mr. Floyd shrugged sadly. He looked like a broken man. The events of years ago still plagued him deeply. I'm sorry about August, Noah. It was a terrible thing that happened to him. Part of Noah still wanted to snap at him, to tell him not to talk about August, not to say that he was dead. Admitting that was finally giving up, but Noah held back. August was gone. There was no point in denying it any longer. At those words, however, Kane suddenly stood up. I'll leave you to do it. Excuse me. Kane? Sorry, Noah. Oh, he's sad. He left the room, taking the staircase up to the second floor. Noah looked back towards his ex-teacher, putting Kane out of his mind for the moment. Can I ask you some totally unrelated questions? Mr. Floyd shifted his posture slightly, surprised. If there's anything I can help you with, I'm always happy to assist. Have you had any really terrible nightmares? Reoccurring ones, maybe? That's completely unrelated, wow. He almost laughed. I suppose this is important, huh? Noah nodded, but kept quiet as his teacher thought about it. Not long ago, actually, I kept having the same dream about a man of shadows who would descend upon me, as if judging me for my sins. He never said a word to me, but I could feel his overwhelming hate. I knew he wanted me dead more than anything. It felt so real, and it was all happening for nights on end, and then it just stopped. That definitely confirms it then. Does it take a few visits to kill someone? Or is there some other reason he's forced to stop? Hear me out. He stopped chasing after him, like the killer, when either Noah or Cain forgave him. When one of them forgave him, I don't know who it is or which one it is. I think it's some like manifestation of like their hate and their, because the thing is like Noah is a very clearly depressed and hate-filled person, obviously. But Cain is too. And it's just not as obvious because he has that really good front. So I think both of them are pretty good, like, whether it's conscious or not, they are manifesting or are a being that has been killing people that have hurt, specifically Noah, would be my guess. So it's either Noah has been doing it subconsciously, and because he forgave Mr. Floyd, they're not going after him anymore, or Cain is low-key yandere-ish, which I love, like Slay. Because also he hasn't been very like upset that these people are dead either. He's like, good riddance. So he might be low-key like yandere-ish, but I'm not sure if that's true. That's just my opinion. Wait, it was definitely a guy? You know what? Now that you ask, I'm not so certain. That's what I thought for some reason, though. Can I ask why you thought that? Is there something bothering you? Because the other thing, right, is Cain said that too. Cain said man, but Cain hasn't been having the nightmares. Cain also was like, he. And Reuben was like, why do you think it's a he? I just heard that some other people who had died had also been having the nightmares beforehand. You think a bad dream could lead to death? Noah shrugged. It sounds crazy, but, well, anything's possible. If that were the case, I'm glad nothing happened to me. If I died before being able to talk to you about what happened, I doubt I could have moved on. Noah's eyes traveled to the window, where clouds had parted and stray moonlight trickled in. The night was cool and crisp, yet Noah had felt intimate warmth too. Innate. My bad, sorry. I'm focused on Kane, my bad. Mr. Floyd stood. It's a bit of a drive back, so I should get going. Can we meet up again sometime? Mr. Floyd froze, as if that was the last thing he expected to hear from Noah, and then he smiled. Of course. I can't apologize once, and expected to make everything okay, can I? So, whenever you want to meet again, let me know. Noah stood as well. Thanks for coming over on such short notice, Mr. Emery. I really do appreciate it. It was the least I could do, really. Could you do something in return? What's that? Keep making art. Keep pursuing your passions. And most of all, take care of yourself. I guess I'll do my best. And that was that. Noah watched as Mr. Floyd left, closing the front door quietly behind himself. All was silent. I can't believe I blamed him for all these years. I should find Kane. Noah turned just to see that Kane had already rejoined him in the living room. Heyo! Oh, there you are. Why'd you run off like that? Kane shrugged. I guess being back here is affecting me a little more than I was expecting. It's fine. Sorry, I shouldn't have run off like that. It's fine. I was just worried about you. The last thing I want to do is make you worry. Kane took a deep breath, like he was gathering himself. You know that manga we used to read together? Noah blinked in surprise. That's a little out of left field. Vaguely? There was that superhero who would judge villains for their crimes. Suspicious. 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 It's Kane, isn't it? It's Kane, isn't it? Yeah! I'm locked in, sorry. It's a little embarrassing, but I think I always looked up to him. I tend to label people as bad or good in my mind, and Mr. Floyd was firmly in the bad category. I just feel ashamed now for judging him so easily for something I never even knew about. You don't need to judge people on my behalf. People change. You've changed a lot recently, Noah. I swear it was just yesterday I was trying to get you to understand that yourself. Now look at me. I know I'm acting weird. Sorry, I just think I'm tired. There's been so much going on lately. Noah slowly nodded. Trust me, I understand. A sudden wave of fatigue crashed over Noah. There really had been so much going on. Walking around town, calling all those people, meeting Reuben and Mr. Floyd. It was all a level of activity he wasn't used to. Not anymore. This will be my punishment for being a hermit for so long. I'm not used to all that exercise and talking. Do you feel like you have any leads? I have a few ideas, but I don't know if they're leads exactly. Oh, I have a lead. It's you, isn't it? Because let's just say, but he wasn't there for Asher, was he? No, but Asher got the little thing. He got the pack thing. You know what I'm talking about? Asher took that little, baggie that keeps him safe. So he can't be hit anymore, even though Kane doesn't know about it. And he wouldn't need it if Noah knew, right? Right. Well, tomorrow's another day. I'm sure we'll find something if we keep looking. Dude, if this theory's wrong, I'm gonna be like, damn, that would have been a sick theory though, wouldn't it have been? That's why we leave that to Matt, Pat, and who is it now? Ash? That's why we leave it to Ash. Thank you. We have to. I didn't come all this way back here to give up so easily. I really wish we would give up. Kane? You know how much I worry about you. I just don't want you stumbling into something you'd better off not knowing about. It's so him. It's so freaking him. If it's not him, I'm gonna be mad. Not really, but this is so fun. This is tea. Even if it is him, I'd be like, oh well. Kiss. I'd be like, that's crazy of you to do that. But I live in a fictional world, so who cares? I'll be fine. Noah smiled self-deprecatingly. And if I'm not, it's not like I was doing much with my life before all of this. You're the one who had to take a whole week off of work for this wild goose chase. You should be the one who doesn't want to give up. Wouldn't that be a waste? What waste? Kane smiled. We might not have found many hints about the killer, but that doesn't mean I considered the day to be worthless. No? No, I still got to spend it with you after all. I might not want us to be here doing all of this, but I'm happy I'm the one by your side anyway. That's what makes it all worthwhile, if nothing else. I don't really know what you see in me, Kane. Kane was quiet for a few moments before a gentle whisper escaped his lips. Probably more than you'll ever realize. Yes, I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Smooch, I'm joking. I'm kidding. Yes, I'm kidding. What? Who said that? Who told him to kiss? It was me. Yes, I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm joshing you. It's so him, though. It's totally him. It's 100% him. It's so him. There's no way it's not. Oh, dude, there's no way it's not. There's no way, dude. If it's not him, I will be very surprised. Why? You're just you. And I like you plenty, faults and all. Right. You know, sometimes I wonder if you have a thing for being mistreated. So what if I do? Kane chuckled. Not to shame you or anything, but I would tell you to get better taste in people then. Kane shrugged. That's asking the impossible. I don't think I could ever abandon you. And I don't think I'll ever understand you. Still, thanks. That's what best friends are for. How about I whip us up some dinner? I'm starving. And considering you push your food around on the plate more than you eat, you must be hungry too. I feel bad when you wait on me so much. Why? I like cooking. And you, hopefully, like eating what I cook. I'd call that a win-win. You really would make a good husband. That's an interesting comment to suddenly make. He could be your husband. What? I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Husband. Anyways. His face. He said, "Ouch, jump scare." Noah and Kane stared at each other, eyes going wide. Noah brought his hand up to his mouth, shocked. I mean, to someone else, of course. What woman wouldn't want her husband to be so good at cooking and cleaning? I really didn't mean to say that out loud. No, it's fine. I should probably check what food you have in the fridge. He hurried out of the room, making a hasty retreat to the kitchen. Noah sat alone in the living room, cheeks heating up from embarrassment. He wasn't even entirely sure where that had come from. He never really thought about Kane like that. Kane was his reliable mom friend. He never once thought about him in a romantic sense. Why had his mind suddenly gone there? What is wrong with me today? Noah sat on his own empty living room. Sat on his own in the empty living room, twiddling his thumbs as he waited for, well, I wasn't sure what for. He felt too awkward to walk in the kitchen and help Kane, and even worse sitting here while Kane did all the work. Ugh, just act natural, Noah. What's wrong with you? It wasn't much later when Kane re-entered the living room. Well, there's some vegetables in the fridge, and there's still some pasta in the pantry. I should be able to work something up from that. Kane's face was flushed, and his gaze was averted away from Noah. Oh, this is the timeline I want, bitch! Yeah, this is the timeline we've been working for, guys. We've been working for the Kane! Dude, I don't even care if he's the killer at this point. I'm like, justice for Kane! I love Kane! The only thing that would suck is if he was the person that killed August, then that would be a big L, I fear. Because then it's like, why was he so pale? You know what I mean? Oh god, I hope he didn't kill August. That's gonna suck. I can look over everything. I can't look over him killing August out of jealousy. Dude, especially with the thoughts he was having right before. Because you didn't see how he got home. You didn't see how he got home from that. Oh, please don't be a killer. Don't be like a straight up killer. Be like I manifested so much anger from my husband that I accidentally killed people. That's the storyline I want. And I'm just gonna be like, what, Moira? What, Moira? Kane's face was flushed and his gaze was averted away from Noah. Sorry about before. I mean, not that what I said was wrong. You would make a good husband to someone. I mean to me. I mean, what? At that, Kane finally cracked a smile. I don't know. I think I'd be alright at it. Noah choked on his next word. What? God, I can't deal with this tension, Noah. Obviously, I'm kidding. Come on, I'll start making dinner. You don't need to help, but come and join me in the kitchen, alright? You haven't been eating properly lately, you know? So I had an idea. Noah got to his feet and followed behind Cain, feeling a little like a guest in his own home. His cheeks still burned. Yeah? What idea was that? When a child will need their dinner, parents usually cook with them and encourages kids to eat. I'm not a kid, you jerk. The tension immediately broke, and Noah laughed out loud. Cain grinned, his normal, charismatic self. I need them to kiss. Sometimes I'm not so sure. You do have that whole broody teenage aesthetic going for you. I do not. And even if I did, it's better than your whole... The oven pinged loudly, cutting off Noah, and Cain turned back towards the kitchen. Looks like the entree is ready. How did you manage to get an entire entree ready in the amount of time you were in the kitchen? Cain shrugged, still grinning. I'm just that good. Husband, what? I'm joking. I'm not kidding. Kiss? What? I lift my life on the edge of a mental breakdown. Noah put his fork down beside his plate, a content feeling spreading throughout his body. He really hadn't eaten properly in a long time. He hadn't realized just how hungry he was. Doesn't meet your tastes, wifey. Noah nearly spat out the food he was choking on. Choking on? Well, I guess he was doing that. He swallowed hard, glaring towards Cain. Shut up already. Sorry. No, you're not. No, not really. Feeling a little fuller? I'm stuffed. You really are a good cook. I still don't know why you didn't take up cooking professionally. Oops. Cain rubbed the back of his neck, his easygoing smile slipping. Well, after Dad left, it was just my mom and I had to do something that would make money and support her. She's fine now, but she struggled to keep the house for a while there. Speaking of vanishing, Cain frowned, his steepled fingers together. Then he gave Noah a look, one which was penetrating. This might sound a little I'll just get my phone out. Sequitur? I don't know what that means, nor how to say it correctly. Sequitur. What does that mean? Yo, can you say that out loud or what? Hey, yo. Pronunciation, babes. It's over. Well, I don't think that's right at all. This is Sequitur. Sequitur goes crazy. Anyways, what does it mean? What does it mean? A conclusion that follows from the premise. What? A conclusion of an inference, a consequence. Oh, okay. How do you feel about Asher? Asher? We haven't really talked about him, but I presume the last night's conversation must be weighing on your mind. How have you been holding up? I'm not the same as usual, I guess. Meaning you aren't doing too well. I always hated him, but... Did you know, after August, the hospital... My parents wouldn't drive me to the hospital to see him, and Asher stole my dad's keys and took me. I hate him, but he has a heart somewhere in there. I don't know. I didn't realize. But don't let him off the hook for his bad behavior, okay? Yeah. I feel a little envious of Reuben being able to wash his hands of Asher. He's still my brother, though, whether I like it or not. Given the people who have been targeted so far, Cain's voice trails off, an expression becoming troubled. What do you mean? Are you saying you think Asher could be next? I'm saying it's a possibility. Did I ever tell Cain that I was in Asher's dream before? I don't think I did. I tried to give him one of those charms Crow gave me, but he wouldn't take it. Oh, he didn't take it. Oh, I thought he did. Interesting that he brings that up. My eyes are open, I'm watching you. I'm watching from every angle. So I guess he could still be targeted. Who's to say? I don't know who the killer is, or what their MO might be. But when I stop to think about it, it does feel weird that they went after your father and your mother, but they left Asher alone. If the killer really is targeting people, you know, which they seem to be, it makes sense, doesn't it, that they'd try to finish off the job? Asher's a bit of a loose end. Noah digested the information quietly, his gaze downturned. When he'd seen Asher in that dream, he did have half a thought about it, but he didn't really want to consider what he'd do if Asher died too. Maybe I need to think about it. If Kane's trying to prepare me for the worst case scenario, yeah, I guess he is a loose end. If I could just work out why each person was targeted, then maybe I might be able to guess who they'd go after next easier. Maybe I should go after him next? Maybe I would go after him next if I was the killer. It's worth considering. And Kane fixed his eyes on... No, okay, yeah, you're right. Let's think about that from... The only ones we know were... So it was his parents, then the teacher, then some other guy that I don't know. Asher was one of them. And Luca. I would assume then it could also be like the ghost of what's his name? August. Because they're also all people who tried to get in the way of the relationship between Noah and August. That's also. But I don't know. I don't know. Dude, I'm telling you right now, if it's the ghost and he kills Kane, I'm gonna come in this game and get him myself. That's all I gotta say. Kane fixed his eyes on Noah, his gaze still downwards. How do you think you'd feel? I know it's hard thinking about it, but I don't know. Noah shook his head, feeling at a loss for words. It's complicated. He's always been so awful to you, Noah. I can see why it would be complicated. There's no judgment here. I don't know if my feelings for him would magically change, even if he did die. I spent so little time with him, it's not like my life would change in any meaningful way if he did die. We grew up together, but we might as well be strangers. Part of me thinks I might be happier, actually, if I never saw him again. Noah looked at Kane, and his brow furrowed, but I still don't think I'd want him to die. After the way he treated you, I wouldn't blame you if you did. He's a real jerk, isn't he? Do you even need to ask? Kane smiled, and then he yawned. It's been a long day, huh? Tell me about it. As much as I love talking to you, it's probably about time to get to sleep. Tomorrow will be a long day. Another long day, I'm sure. Noah looked out the window. The moon was high in the sky. It was probably midnight already. Time slips through my fingers these days. I hardly have a proper gauge on when it's night and when it's day anymore. Grief does funny things to you sometimes. Noah stood, stretching out his shoulders with a crack. Ew. Being away from his easel for a while was probably doing him some good, but it still felt a little achy from all the walking. I'll see you in the morning then. Good night, Noah. If you don't let that man into your bedroom, I'm gonna get you. Girl, I'm gonna get you. Noah found his way upstairs into his old bedroom, and he stared at his bed. For some reason, he felt wrong. Why? He'd slept in this room last night without an issue. It feels wrong to leave him down there on the couch when there's a perfectly good bed right here to use. Ugh, damn it. Yeah. You go get him. I would go get him. Yeah, I would go get him. Yeah. I would have done that night one. I'd been like, get in my bed. Loser, what are you doing? I can sleep on the couch. No, you won't. Get in my bed. I would have gotten him so fast. I'm gonna get in my bed. I'm gonna get you. It was embarrassing considering their earlier conversation, but Noah still trotted downstairs again. Hey, Kane. Back so soon. Don't tell me you missed me. Come upstairs. Did something happen? Yeah. Well, no. Ugh, why am I so awkward all of a sudden? We've shared a bed before. It's not a big deal. Share my bed with me. Kane, who'd been busy making up the bed on the couch, froze. Huh? Come sleep in my bed with me. It's stupid to ruin your back sleeping on the couch. My bed is big enough for the two of us to sleep. Well, who am I to turn up such a heartfelt request? I guess you really did miss me. Shut up already. It's not like that. I just feel guilty. Guilty? Is this guilt I feel? A sleepover it is then. Noah beckoned Kane along after him, making their way upstairs. Yeah, I should hold hands while you do that. What? I'm joking. They're already getting cutie. I don't need to be pushing them beyond their means. They both fidgeted slightly as they stared towards the bed, unsure of who should make the first move. Girl, I'll be plopping into that. Quit. Eventually, Kane just chuckled and started undressing. I'm playing. He slipped out of his clothes and down to his boxers. Whoa. Oh my god, you're so annoying. Shut up. Fuck you. Anyways. I hate this man. Boo, boo. Blushing for you, Noah. Peace and love, girl. Noah slipped out of his clothes and down to his boxers and then tossed a wink towards Noah. I'm gonna get him. Hey, no need to stare. Even if I know that's difficult when it comes to me, nothing you haven't seen before, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna kill him myself. Noah frowned, crossing his arms. Just get into bed already. Noah undressed himself, though he hung his coat up neatly and folded his clothes instead of just discarding them. Kane's teasing had rendered him somewhat self-conscious. Quickly, he hopped into bed and burrowed under the covers next to Kane. Kane and I are friends, that's all. Those comments about marriage from earlier and Asher's teasing are just getting to me. Noah turned over slightly in the dark room, looking toward Kane's broad shoulders and back. He really was an attractive person when Noah looked at him objectively. Yeah, me too. That's what I think. Objectively, subjectively, whatever. He'd always known that, of course. Kane was charismatic and charming, and Noah was sure nearly every girl at school was in love with him. But Noah usually just saw his goofy best friend. Right now, Kane seemed different. Not necessarily in a bad way. Noah just wasn't used to it, to any of this. To being so close to someone, to letting someone be so close. He felt overly conscious of the heat that lay beside him, aware for some reason of every slight change in Kane's body, his breathing. They weren't touching, but he still feels awfully close. Kiss! I'm joking. I'm playing. Okay, I'm locked in. We've done this plenty of times, but it feels so different right now. He feels like a man. A man who is my best friend, but a man nonetheless. The situation feels more intimate than I'd planned for. Nervously, Noah continued to shift his weight under the sheets. I couldn't possibly think of him as something more other than a friend, could I? Noah's cheeks grew warm, and his heart rate sped up, but he didn't know why. Could I? Kane? Kane turned over in the bed. Kiss? I'm joking. I'm playing. I'm so silly and goofy. Oh, I'm so silly, goofy, ridiculous. Moonlight from the window casting over his face. His expression looked searching, almost shy. Is something up? No, Dude, I'm captain of Awkward Town, I fear. Imagine. He's like, is something up? I'm like, no. We're so good. We're fine. You're fine. What? I'm kidding. Noah swallowed hard. Can I come closer to you? Huh? Kane blinked. A smile cracked the serious look on his face. Are you feeling cold or something? No. But I want to be a little closer. Kane stared. I'm sorry. I'm serious. I swear. I laugh when I'm uncomfortable and awkward. Mostly awkward. I'm mostly feeling awkward and uncomfortable right now. Panic. I'm panicking. That's what it is. A silence settled upon them. Not an uncomfortable one, but charged. Yeah, I'm sure it's charged. Kane looked at Noah, and Noah, too, looked at Kane. Well, of course it's not a big deal between the two of us, right? Right. Noah shuffled closer, feeling the bed shift as Kane did the same. Kiss! I'm joking. I'm kidding. I'm pulling your leg. Gag. It wasn't like they hadn't hugged before. They were best friends, for goodness sake, and Kane was an affectionate person. But when Noah lowered his head to rest against Kane's chest, they both froze. It was warm. Kane was warm. This was obvious, yet not. Everybody was warm. It was a human trait. But there was something special about the warmth that emanated from Kane. Noah found himself drawn to it, like a moth to a flame. Is this weird? No, not really. Okay. Noah paused for a few moments, his thoughts rushing by him a mile a minute. I can hear his heartbeat. Then finally he draped his arm over Kane's side. The other boy still didn't seem to be pushing away, so Noah settled in, awkwardly closing his eyes. Warmth was something Noah was not something Noah was particularly familiar with. He normally kept to himself. He spent a lot of his time alone, focusing on his art and his grief. But now, pressed against Kane, the two of them tangled together in Noah's own bed. I think I could get used to it. Kane was a little hesitant, still, as if not entirely certain of what was happening. But a moment or so later, he wrapped his arm around Noah in return, pulling him a little closer. Yes, it's the timeline I signed up for. What? Noah did fall asleep in the end. A little warm, almost painfully warm, but content. Hell yeah! Noah's sleep was not very restful, damn. Largely because he wasn't given a chance to rest at all. He knew what was happening in the moment his body seemed to sink into the mattress, through the floor. Oh, god damn it. This shit, whatever motherfucker is dragging me in here is about to get hit. About to get hit. What do you mean? No, they're having cute, cuddly little guy moments. Bruh. You know what? I hope that guy who's murdering people, come in here. I'm about to slide you a knuckle sandwich real quick. I'm about to come and murder you, my guy. Yeah, you know what? Let me beat the shit out of you real quick. My fists are up. Let's tussle, buddy. Come on. I'm getting my cane moment, and you're taking it from me to be in a stupid dream. Bam, 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 bam. Anyways, his hair fluttered in the wind, and his eyes snapped open. About to piss me off with this. So bad. He wanted instinctively to scream, but he knew that there was no point. It was unlikely that anybody would be able to hear him. Not here. Not in this abyss between dreams. Noah fell and fell and fell, sinking into darkness. It's all right, I've got you. You don't need to be afraid. Until a familiar-sounding voice called out to him from his featureless surroundings. Noah felt fingers twining between his. He felt palms pressing flush against those of another's. He blinked, and when he did, a familiar face appeared in front of him. It was Crow. My guy? I don't want this guy. No, I want Kane back. L's all around. The soles of Noah's shoes hit the ground with a soft thud. Dude, oh my god. No, wait, hear me out though. Hear me out. So if we're going with the theory that it's Kane that's killing all these people, and we're also going with the theory that I don't remember when it was like the other day, where we were saying that people who had died and then who died in a dream and got stuck in that dream zone, started losing their memories, and we're going with August is actually Crow and Crow just can't remember. Dude, it could be like Crow's trying to save him and Kane is like, oh, this is so tea. I just want to know what's happening. I'm such a dummy little dum-dum. I have no brains. Anyways. He had found himself once again in that strange void where he had wound up after his last dream had collapsed on itself. Oh, dude, hell yeah. What's up, dude? It was blindingly... Oh, God, it's hurting my eyes. It was blindingly white, so bright it hurts his eyes. Girl, me too. It was a place where Crow resided, the half-formed world which existed, though barely in between dreams. Noah hadn't come from his own volition. Hadn't come here of his own volition last time. Crow had rescued him, plucking him from the abyss, like a fruit from a tree. Was this too Crow's doing? But why? Oh, hi. Welcome back. Did you bring me here? Do you have something to talk about? Was it that obvious? He smiled calmly as he always did. It made Noah's heart do flips. A lucky guess, I suppose. I can't think of any other reason why I'd wind up here. A smiling Crow stepped back, drawing his finger from Noah's. You're right. There is something I wanted to talk to you about. That's why I called you here. If it wasn't for me, you could be sleeping and dreaming. I apologize for the interruption. No, it's alright. I mean, I'm kind of mad you did it on the night I was hanging out with my guy. I got that man in my bed and you sucked me in here. That's kind of annoying. I don't know, is not mad, but I am. If it's you, I don't mind being yanked around in my sleep, I guess. I really am sorry for that. But before that, how are you, Noah? You seem somehow more tired and more well-rested than usual. I guess the country air is helping. I'm okay. I'm visiting home for a while. Home? Back on that mountainside? How do you know that? That's right. It's a little... Yeah, how does he know that? Interesting. Suspicious. Well, my eyes are open. I'm watching you. It's a little exhausting, but it's nice to be out of my apartment for a bit. A smile returned to Crow's face. Noah, you're doing so well. I'm really proud of you. Perhaps that's meaningless coming from me, but it's true nonetheless. How could it be meaningless coming from you? I'm trying. It's hard. Giving up so much Giving up is so much easier than trying to keep going. I want to run back home and lock myself away, but there's something I need to do. People who need me. All the people who died, all of those who will be targeted in the future. Kane, you. I'm happy to hear that, Noah, but you needn't consider me a burden. I'm here to help you, no matter what. And I always will be here. Noah looked up at Crow's eyes, trying to peer back at whoever was behind the mask. He wondered if it could truly be August. He hoped. But now wasn't the time for that. I kinda am suspicious, high-key. So, right. I brought you here because there was something I wanted to discuss. I suppose you can consider this an emergency meeting of sorts. Anxiety began to fester inside Noah's head, but he did his best to ignore it. Did something happen? That is, well, it's hard to explain. I'm finding it difficult putting it into words. Is it bad? Noah sighed. I should have figured. It feels like nothing is simple anymore. Noah's words were more directed at himself, but Crow's calm voice responded. Sometimes I wonder if this world of yours is a more confusing one. Dreams may be filled with chaos, but it's usually the people who create them. People who create them who are the most confusing. I digress. Rather than telling you about what I brought you here for, I think it would be best if I showed you. That could save us a lot of time. And if we're lucky, I might end up saving somebody's life. Noah just nodded and followed Crow anywhere. You know, you're starting to make me worry. Not deliberately. I really do want to help you. I promised I would. Crow sighed, looking towards the ground. Are you ready to go? Sure, I'm ready. Wait, there's something I need to ask you first. Yes? Is it possible that the killer appears multiple times to whoever they plan to kill? I heard a few people now that our targets had nightmares of a person draped in shadow. Crow blinked, surprised, and then smiled. You and I are truly on the same page, Noah. That is also the basis I've been going off, and for the reason I brought you here. Why would the victims have been visited multiple times, though? Well, I have a hypothesis about that. Nightmares make you awaken, don't they? When the victims are visited by the killer, they are frightened, and their bodies wake them up. I can imagine the killer's quite frustrated at that. So, we could use it to work out who was going to be killed if we work out who's having nightmares? Crow nodded. In theory, I imagine in practice, it's a little hard for a regular person to find every person who has a nightmare. Right. But I am not a regular person. I believe I have found someone having these same nightmares. Quickly, we should be able to reach him. It makes me nervous. Crow once again took Noah's hand, their fingers entwined, almost as though they were lovers. Can you shut up? We have a man right now. We have a man. Noah, if that even is your real name. For an action carried out within a dream, or a rift within a dream, Crow's hand was awfully soft. Noah's mind was reminded once again of August, and how bashful they had been when they first held hands. Noah wasn't afforded the chance to reminisce for so long. Once again, the world began to shift around them. Oh, this looks familiar and I'm not happy about it. This looks familiar and I'm not happy about it. The bright white backdrop started to ripple, just like water, and then it melted away to reveal a scene so familiar Noah gasped. Dude, is it Kane having these dreams? I'm gonna freak out, dude. What's happening? He might have been in the dream, but there was nothing fantastical about the landscape he found himself in. It was late at night, just as it had been when he had retreated to his bedroom. The sky was scattered with stars. The moon was full, its light pale and wan, almost eerie. Wane? I don't know. The moon's rays played across the leaves of numerous trees, which surrounded Noah like sentinels. And it played, too, across the surface of the water. Noah was standing by the riverside, the very river which he had often retreated to as young boy to paint. It was at that river that Asher had thrown his sketchbooks all those years ago. August had chanced upon them then, and he had waded into the water. Dude, I saw that, bro. I don't need you to tell me I saw it. To fish them out the damaged books and the scattered pages. August was not with Noah now, however. He had to content himself instead with Crow, a man who looked strikingly similarly to August, one who was so mysterious he couldn't be sure who he really was. So why did you bring me here? Huh? Noah frowned. He'd meant to pose this question to Crow, but he was surprised to hear it come from someone else's mouth instead. What's going on? Noah, don't do this to me. I'm gonna kill myself. I'm joking. I'm being dramatic. Noah tore his gaze away from Crow, and he glanced to the riverbank. There were two figures, on the opposite side of the bank, and both of them shrouded in shadow. Noah didn't initially recognize either of them, not until the clouds parted, and a shaft of moonlight split down to the ground. I'm gonna cry. No. I don't want to read it. The moonlight cast features onto the two figures into relief, and when it did, Noah gasped. He knew these people after all. He knew one of them very well, in fact. One of them was Asher. Okay, thank God. Girl, you got me quaking. I'm like, please don't play out my fantasy, my theory. Don't play that out. It makes me nervous. One of them was Asher, and the other was Reuben. What are they doing out there? I guess this is a dream, but whose is it? Is it Asher's or Reuben's? Crow. Noah addressed Crow in a quiet voice, but he didn't tear his eyes away from the opposite side of the bank. He couldn't bring himself to look away. What is this? This is not something I wanted you to see, necessarily. It doesn't feel too appropriate to glance at the inner workings of another's mind like this, but, well, I'm sure if we were to stay here, the person we're really waiting for will show up. Then we're camping outside of this dream until then? I suppose so. I've seen this dream many times. It's gone so many different ways, yet it's never had a positive outcome. Asher thinks about this moment a lot. And this is Asher's dream. Oh, okay, cool, that guy that we were considering going for. I would just like to point out that Cain did say something, wouldn't be mad. I would understand if you weren't upset when he died. Pointing that out. Don't know if that means anything. I really have been seeing these a lot recently. Crow nodded. I can travel between people's dreams whenever I desire. Some people's dreams are more intense than others, so I get drawn to them, a little like a moth to a flame, just like I was to Cain before you dragged me in here. Though most of the time I'd simply wait rather than visit dreams. Still, I think it would be a lot of help to you, then I will do it. This dream is one I've witnessed 3 times already. Hey! Don't play dumb with me. You know why I asked you to come here. Ash's voice cut through Crow's response. It wavered with emotion, his fingers twitching at his sides. We need to talk. You've been avoiding me for a whole week. I just want to know, what did I do? Asher. Reuben surveyed Asher's expression, as per usual, inscrutable. If you have to ask me that, and it shows you didn't reflect on your behavior in the slightest. I would have thought it would have been obvious what you did. Oh, this is about Noah again, isn't it? I was trying to figure out a way to say that, but I gave up. What if it is? What would you say? I'd say, what the heck? Why do you care so much? It's not like anything It's not like I said any of that to you. I actually like you. I'm not going to turn against you if that's what you're so worried about, so that isn't what I'm worried about. We've always been good friends. I know you'll treat me well. Friends, huh? Is that all I am to you? Kiss? What? I'm joking. I'm not. I want them to kiss too. Thank you. Reuben shrugged nonchalantly. He always had that look on his face. Calm passiveness. Is that what you would... they were dating. Is that what you have everyone else... Is that what you would have everyone else believe? You know what my parents are like. If they found out, they'd disown me. I can't afford to be disowned now. The stuff they said to Noah about that August kid. The one he's sweet on. It really puts their opinions into perspective. I know. Noah shuffled awkwardly in place. This didn't really feel like a conversation he wanted to be privy of, yet he couldn't look away. That's why I never pushed the issue. I didn't want to make things difficult for you. I would have been happy, just quietly spending time together, just the two of us. I didn't mind keeping our relationship a secret, but I didn't like you been keeping secrets from me. I would never. I'd tell you everything. I'm literally an open book. Books make more sense than you, Asher. You're honest about your home life, maybe. Your schoolwork, how overwhelmed you feel. But you never told me how you've been treating, or mistreating, rather, your brother. I knew you had a strained relationship, but I didn't realize it was strained because of you. Oh, please. Why do you care so much about how I treat Noah? He's a spoiled brat, and is handed everything on a silver platter, and he doesn't give a crap. He knows our parents only give a crap about him. And he's my brother. All brothers argue, it's normal. My brother and I don't argue. Is that what this is? Are you comparing Noah and I to you and Emmett? Reuben looked down towards the river, disappointment in his eyes. My mother abandoned us. My father drank and gambled away everything. I wouldn't be alive if not for Emmett. I know. I know that your brother's important to you, but there's no but, Asher. I thought you understood what family is. That family is so important to me. My mother and my father were never my family, really. I mean, the family who sticks around, who cheer you on. I thought you were that for Noah, too. At least I thought you were on civil terms. I didn't know you harassed him like you do. I was just letting off steam, really. You should know I don't really mean it. Should I? I don't know anymore, Asher. Feels like I don't know the real you at all. I'm always the real me around you. What if that's just another act of yours? Like a character in a book. Maybe none of your reactions are your own. Just the person you think I want you to be. It's not that deep. I just didn't think it was that big of a deal. I mean, he's my brother. I can say what I like to him. And anyway, he's rude to me in response. He doesn't respect me. Why should he? If you've been treating him that awfully. Respect isn't something a person is owed. It's something a person needs to work for. You've proven that you're not worthy of it. Oh, come on. You can't seriously have been ghosting me because of the way I treat Noah, have you? If it bothers you that much, I'll apologize, but save your breath. Reuben glanced away from Asher, his eyes narrowed. You're apologizing to the wrong person. Noah's the one you're really upset, not me. But you don't really care about that, do you? You don't really care about who you hurt, so long as you get what you want. That's not true. I care about you, Reuben. And I care about you, too. I spent years working and working and working so my older brother could go to university and have a future. So he didn't have to give up on his dreams just to raise me. He tried to be what I missed from my parents, and he was the one who stuck around. He's my family. If I didn't have him, if he treated me like you treat Noah, I don't think I can trust you anymore, Asher. What? Reuben, wait, I can change. I will, I swear. I'm sick of the excuses and false promises. Are you sick of me? Reuben closed his eyes, deeply inhaled, and then said in a soft voice, for the moment, yes. I don't think I can be with you anymore, not while you don't show a hint of remorse. I'm sorry. Wait, Reuben, wait! Don't go, we can still talk this through, we can... Reuben, please, Reuben. Yeah, break up. Break up, this is tea. Wow, wow, wow. Sorry, it's sad. He's about to die, my bad. Let me shut up and sit down. Asher called after Reuben, retreating back, but his voice was weak, and it wavered. There was no real conviction in it, perhaps because he knew no matter what he said, Reuben would not come back. Noah didn't know Reuben very well, but from the little he had gleaned, Asher's friend had a strong sense of family. Oh, ooh. Reuben. Oh, crap. Asher's face twisted. Tears began to bead at the corner of his eyes, hot, wet tears which took Noah by surprise, and then he crumpled. Asher fell to his knees, hitting the grassy riverbank. His torso bent forward, trembling as he pressed his head in his hands. Noah couldn't see Asher's face, but he could hear his sobs. They were so desperate. Noah felt his heart clenching in sympathy for his older brother. It was a curious sensation, feeling sorry for Asher. Noah had never felt it before. Asher had always been the golden child of the family, the one Noah had always been compared to. Asher received perfect grades in everything he did. He was always popular with his classmates. Ow, my fingies. He was cordial, charismatic, and effortlessly cheerful. Noah's mother was always sighing and tutting and asking why Noah couldn't be more like his older brother. Asher, unlike Noah, didn't have any delusions about being an artist. Asher kept his nose to the grindstone and focused instead on subjects that would net him a respectable career in the future, math and the sciences. Asher didn't hang around people like August either, who might lure him into wicked temptations. Asher's best friend was Reuben, a quiet, studious boy who Noah's parents regarded as a good influence. Asher cared about the right interests, and he talked to the right people. Noah had never been able to measure up to him. Asher was perfect. Oh, God. And now Noah's perfect older brother was sobbing on a riverbank, reduced to a shadow of his former self after a few strewn words from Reuben. Noah had always known Asher was close to Reuben, but he hadn't known the relationship was like that at all. He never would have guessed. He didn't even think Asher was capable of caring about someone to such an extent. I always thought he was a person Asher cared about was... I thought the only person Asher cared about was Asher, but I guess I was being unfair. He must have cared about Reuben a lot, too. I didn't realize they were so close, but I guess there's a lot about Asher I didn't know. It's not like I ever really spoke to him. Noah certainly hadn't known that Asher was capable of crying like this. He hadn't known he was capable of crying, full stop. Asher had always seemed too good for tears. Why would he have bothered with them when he was so intelligent, so self-assured and adored? Noah was now beginning to see, however, that Asher's persona had been carefully cultivated. Yeah. Perhaps deep down, he wasn't as together as he wanted to appear. If he was, Reuben's departure never would have hurt him like this. Reuben. Asher mumbled pitifully to himself, his voice muffled by his hands and by his tears. How could you leave me? Asher sounded so distraught. Noah was struck with a sudden desire to console him. It's funny. I always thought I hated him, but seeing him this vulnerable, I guess he's more than just my self-absorbed big brother. He's a person, too, with his own problems. I just never realized he had any because he hid them. He was so busy trying to act perfect, I think I forgot he was a real person. Now I feel bad for him. I'm gonna be real. How can I tell him that, though? And should I even bother? No one knew. Sorry, I'm trying to redo my microphone. Okay, let me just move this. No one knew as he watched Asher cry that this was nothing more than a dream. Even if he did successfully manage to assume Asher's worries, Asher wouldn't remember it when he woke up. Reaching out to him now while he slept would be a waste of time. It would be better not to expend his energy worrying about this version of his brother. But Noah worried all the same. After I talked so big to Cain last night too, about hating him, I can't even make up my mind, huh? Swallowing down his conflicted feelings, Noah slowly made his way over to Asher, searching all the while for the words that might offer some amount of comfort. But he was interrupted before he could reach his brother. A voice, almost familiar, cried out to Asher. Oh, this is the guy. You can cry as much as you like, but it's already too late. I'm not going to show you any pity. You brought this upon yourself, didn't you? It's only natural to pay for your sins. Huh? Noah stopped short and his eyes wide. He thought that the riverbank was deserted after Reuben's absence. He, Crow, and Asher should have been the only people there, and Asher was so caught up in his own misery, had yet to remove his hands from his own face. He was still crying. Noah hadn't heard anyone approach them. There had been no telltale signs of footsteps, rustling, or no rustling of the grass underfoot. It was an undeniable truth, however, that a fourth party had joined them. There was somebody there, standing just behind Asher. Somebody who should not have been there. Noah didn't know where they'd come from. It was almost as though they had materialized out of thin air, and maybe they had. It definitely was someone who can travel between worlds like I can, isn't it? Who else do I know that has that power, though? There's Ivan, but this isn't Ivan. That's not like Ivan at all. The figure standing behind Asher was almost incorporeal. It's like his entire being was made of shadow. There was definitely a person under there. A person with broad shoulders and a low voice. I know someone else who's tall and has broad shoulders and a low voice. I don't know if his voice is low, but I think I know who it is. I'm pretty sure it's who I think it is. I think. That's where I'm at. Noah remained frozen, rooted to the spot, as a mysterious man reached into his pocket. Then from within it, he drew something cold and hard, something sinister, which Noah had only ever seen from within a dream. He was holding a gun. A gun! Wait, he can't! Noah watched on, his breath bated, as the mysterious man shifted. Then, without further preamble, he faced the barrel of his gun toward Asher's head. Yo, that's not cool, my guy. See, dude, he's got the rolled up sleeves and everything. That's totally Kane. You can't tell me it's not. I'll call you a liar. I'm like 80% certain it's him. Crying noises. Asher seemed to not realize what was happening. He was still crying with his head in his hands. He couldn't feel the mysterious energy, or was he too consumed by his own grief to care? Noah didn't know. I think you've hurt enough people to last a lifetime. Reuben was just the tip of the iceberg. He at least was able to rid you of himself, but others, they weren't so lucky. I didn't want to resort to this, but some people just don't change, and you've always been a jerk. It pains me to say this, but since you're Noah's brother. But you're nothing like him. Dude, there's no freaking way that's not Kane. Dude, look at that. Yo, dude, that's so Kane. Quit playing. That's totally Kane. It's totally him. Dude, he's got like narrow eyes and this hair and like he's kind of creepy. I'm gonna be honest. He's wearing a button down that's rolled up in like long pants. Dude, that's what he wears. That's Kane for sure. If it's not, I'm gonna cry. The world would really be better off without you. What? No. It was only now the mysterious man adjusted the grip on his gun. The ability of speech returned to Noah. He gasped, his fingers curling around his fist, and then he cried, "That's enough! Don't hurt him!" The shadowy figure raised his head, alerted by the sound of Noah's cry. A cold wind blew, disturbing the shadow that seemed to conceal the figure. Yeah, show me who it is. It shifted and dissipated to better reveal who he really was. Fucking knew it! I'm so smart. I'm like a genius. I'm a genius. I'm freaking cooking up in this nog. Brown hair was illuminated by the moonlight, a firm jaw, blue eyes. It was a face Noah well, better perhaps than his own, reflected in the mirror, because Noah had just sworn off looking at his face after August's death. He hadn't wanted to remember about how haggard he'd become. This man, however, had always looked after himself. His features were undeniably handsome. Oh, fuck yeah, I knew who this was. Even when obscured with undulating shadows, it was Kane. I fucking knew it. Everyone take a dance break. Dance break. I was right. I'm so smart, dude. I'm like page 9, dude. I'm literally like top 10. I am number 1, brother. I knew it was Kane. I knew it. I started figuring it out. Dude, because he's got that yandere shit going on. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, I'm ready. It's Kane. Hi! Kane, you... Noah took an uneasy step back. He could hardly believe what he was seeing. Oh, I'm a genius. I'm so smart. I don't regret anything. I don't regret a single thing. Yeah. Sorry, okay. That was Kane standing there, holding a gun to Asher's temple. It didn't seem real. Dude, look, this is what I was talking about. The narrow eyes, and then the like shirt with the rolled up. Oh, I'm so smart. Yeah. It felt like a dream. It is a dream, but it's still real. What are you doing? Noah. Kane's voice cracked. He looked shocked and horrified. He was shaking, though Noah hoped he didn't shake to such an extent, he accidentally unloaded a bullet into Asher's head. I know I said I hated him, but I didn't mean I wanted him to die. I never asked for this. You weren't supposed to see this. Why did you come here? You should be sleeping. He was sleeping, soundly. I'm the one who chose to intervene. Yo, this is so tea. This is so tea. Period. If you want to be mad at anyone, you should be mad at me. You. Kane glared at Crow. Oh, fuck yeah. This is about to be tea. No, that's August for sure. Dude, that's totally August. Well, let's go. Dude, I wasn't going to record another one after this. Oh, I'm going crazy recording another one after this. Yeah, we're about to go insane, dude. This is sick. Hell yeah. Oh, my Shayla. My Shayla. Oh, okay. It had been quite some time since the two men had seen each other, but Kane's mistrust for Crow had yet to abate. He looked even more hateful than before. So it was you. Of course it was. The one pretending to be August, holding Noah in the past. Whether I was holding him in the past or not was little matter for the moment. I could have been looking out for Noah. That's more than you can claim. What? You think you're some guardian angel? Crow smiled bashfully. It sounds a little cheesy, but yes. Why, Cain? How can you stand there by his side, Noah? How can you stand to look at his face? How can you say that when you have a gun pressed to my only brother's head? If my face upsets you, then I apologize. But I will not apologize for standing by Noah's side. I didn't think a kind man like you could commit so many terrible deeds. Stop it. Like you, I want Noah to be happy. Stop it. Noah inhaled sharply. Nope, Cain, my bad. Read that really wrong. Bye, Shayla. He continued to press the cold, hard barrel of the gun to Asher's temple, but some of his earlier conviction seemed to have vanished. He shook, just like a frightened schoolboy, but the vitriol in his voice when he addressed Crow was unmistakable. Don't stand there pretending you know how I feel. You would none forever understand what I've gone through, what I've done. Don't pretend that we're the same. Don't pretend that we want the same thing while you wear that face. I'm trying to look after Noah. Whether you believe it or not, we have the same goal, just... Crow looked at the gun held to Asher's temple. Gone about it in different ways. He exhaled. That is why you're doing this, isn't it, Cain? Because you're trying to protect Noah. Oh yeah, I could have told you that. Why do you care? I'm asking because I'd like to try to understand you. I don't think this is a coincidence that all the people who died here, who are wrong, are people who wronged him in the past. You were targeting them deliberately, in hopes that it would help free Noah from his shackles. Oh, that's really sad. In a yonder way, it's kind of cutie, but it's also, like, really dark and sad. Noah opened his mouth to speak and then closed it again. Words were failing him, completely and utterly. He swallowed, but his throat felt dry. It could very well have been a desert. Cain, you. What are you doing? Noah's words eventually summoned weren't the most eloquent, but they would do. Noah, listen, I didn't expect to see you here, but I can explain if you'll just listen, then What is there for me to listen to? Noah rounded on Cain, eyes flashing with fury. How can you explain? I almost wish Crow hadn't shown me this. I wish I didn't want to see him like this. I don't know what to think of Cain as a killer. Oh, I totally thought he could be a killer. But he is, that's the truth. All this time, Cain has been helping me find the killer, and to what end? He must have known we'd find leads, and then we'd never find any leads, not when he was the killer all along. You've been lying to me, Cain. For the last week, you let me believe that we were going to catch the murderer together, that you wanted to stop them. But that wasn't true, was it? You're the one I've been looking for this whole time. You killed my parents, and you were going to kill Asher. How could you? How could you do this to me? Cain didn't answer. In answer to Noah's cries. Cain did not, in answer to Noah's cries, say anything. Perhaps he knew there was nothing he could say. He stared at Noah, his fingers curled around the pistol. As the storm clouds swirled overhead, the sky rumbled ominously. Then the rain began to fall from the sky. The rain was faint at first and scattered. Dude, I'm gonna be real with you. If you killed August, I low-key can't forgive that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you for real, like, murdered August in real time, I'm gonna be so fucking for real with you. I can't forgive that one, my dude. I can, like, look over you killing all these, like, really awful, terrible people just because I don't care that much, and it's a fictional story, and I love a little yandere moment. Dude, if you killed that innocent kid... Ugh, because you were jealous, I cannot put that one behind me, my dude. I can't do it. But then it picked up. The rain drummed against the water in the river, so it rippled. Dude, was he there that night? Oh my god. It struck the ground over and over as merciless as an artillery. The rain landed on Noah's scalp. It slid down the nape of his neck. It was bitingly cold, and he shuddered. Cain. It was bitingly... Oh, my bad. Noah inhaled and curled his fingers into fists. A few weeks ago, we found ourselves in Mr. Floyd's dream. You said you didn't know anything about the dream world. You looked so surprised, and I felt sorry for you. But that wasn't in Act 2, wasn't it? Even before that, you killed my parents. You knew about these dream worlds long before we did that together. Once again, Cain remained mute. Sorry. Well, so much for him being able to explain himself. I'm right. Noah asserted this on Kane's behalf in the face of his silence. For weeks, you've been lying to me, leading me on this farce, acting like you wanted to help me find the killer, acting like you cared. All this time, all of it, it's all been a lie. No, that's not it. I might have lied when we went to Mr. Floyd's dream, and I lied about not knowing who the killer was. Obviously, you didn't even need to spell it out. I'm not stupid, but I never lied when I said I cared about you. I meant every word. You're the most important person to me in the world. You're my best friend, the only person I've ever been able to rely on. That's why I did what I did. I was just trying to protect you. So you thought you'd slaughter my whole family behind my back? It's not like that, Noah. I didn't enjoy doing it. I'm not that kind of person. I didn't know what else to do. How did I ever trust you? We were friends, Noah. It's not a lie, I swear. How am I supposed to know that? How am I supposed to know where your lies end? You just have to trust me. I don't trust you. There's no talking around the fact that you killed my parents. You killed Luca. You're here right now with a gun to Asher's head. Noah. Kane stared at Noah, his expression stricken. I'm letting you know, if I have the chance to forgive him, I'm gonna do it. His face looked pasty, almost as pasty as Asher's. His right hand, which held the gun, was trembling. Icy droplets continued to fall from the sky. Icy droplets which struck Kane's scalp, his cheeks, and his shoulders. Time seemed to slow. It expanded. Noah wondered, terrified whether Kane would pull the trigger and end Asher's life for good. And we're gonna go another step further by saying you're not gonna figure that out until next episode. Dude, this was so tea. I was right. Ayo. I knew I was gonna be right too. No, I didn't, but I'm really glad I was right. Get ruined, dweeb. Yeah. Don't look that you can see how long I've been playing this game. Shut up. This is so tea. I was gonna stop, but now I can't because there's drama. So this is the end of your episode, but not mine. So I'm hoping you're having so much fun with this tea and this drama, and we will dive into more of this absolute tea next time. Bye.